Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the story of one of the most famous buildings in the world, the White House. It's more than just the president's home. It's a living piece of history that has been burned, rebuilt, and renovated time and time again. So grab your popcorn, because this is the story of a building that's as resilient as the nation it represents. Our story begins in 1792. George Washington himself chose the site, but ironically, he's the only U.S. president who never actually lived in the White House. The cornerstone was laid, and construction began under the watchful eye of Irish-born architect James Hoban. By 1800, President John Adams and his wife Abigail became the very first residents, moving into a building that was still far from finished. It was big, it was imposing, but it wasn't white yet. It was built from pale gray sandstone, and they called it the President's Palace, or President's House. But its grand beginnings were about to face a fiery trial. Fast forward to the War of 1812. In August 1814, British troops marched into Washington, D.C., and set fire to many government buildings, including the President's House. The interiors were completely gutted, and only the charred exterior stone walls remained. It was a devastating blow. Many thought it was the end of the building, and some even suggested moving the nation's capital elsewhere. But from the ashes, a symbol of resilience emerged. President James Madison, who had fled the city, was determined to rebuild. Architect James Hoban was called back to oversee the reconstruction. To cover up the smoke stains and discoloration on the sandstone walls from the fire, the exterior was painted with a thick coat of white lead-based paint. And so, the White House was unofficially born. By 1817, President James Monroe was able to move into the rebuilt structure, signaling to the world that the young American nation was here to stay. For the next century, the White House grew and changed with the country. Porches were added, and systems like running water and heating were installed. But by the early 20th century, the house was showing its age. It was crowded and structurally unsound. In 1902, President Theodore Roosevelt embarked on a major renovation. He officially named it the White House, built the West Wing to separate the president's office from his living quarters, and completely redecorated the staterooms. This was a huge step in modernizing the building into the icon we recognize today. But the biggest crisis since the 1814 fire was yet to come. After World War II, President Harry S. Truman noticed chandeliers swaying and floors creaking ominously. An engineering survey revealed a shocking truth. The White House was on the verge of complete collapse. The timber structure was rotting, and the second floor was only being held up by its own plumbing. The Trumans had to move out and live across the street at Blair House for nearly 4 years. From 1948 to 1952, the White House underwent its most dramatic reconstruction. The entire interior was painstakingly dismantled, piece by piece. A new steel frame was built inside the original stone walls, creating a modern, stable structure. Historic paneling, plasterwork, and fixtures were then carefully reinstalled. It was a monumental effort to preserve the soul of the building while ensuring its survival for future generations. When the Trumans moved back in, it was into a house that looked the same, but was entirely new on the inside. And that is the incredible story of the White House, a building that has been burned to a shell, expanded, and completely gutted and rebuilt from the inside out. Each renovation tells a chapter of American history, reflecting the challenges and triumphs of the nation. It stands today not just as a symbol of power, but of endurance and rebirth. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey through history interesting, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more stories like this. Let us know in the comments what piece of history you'd like us to explore next. Until then, take care.